Good afternoon and welcome to this Tuesday, February 26th edition of Westman Newsline. I'm Randy Joseph Lilly alongside Chris Nicholson and Colton Yarich. In today's news, a Shiloh man who had been charged with bestiality and sexual solicitation has been sentenced, and Manitoba Hydro is being sued by the family of a woman who was killed while snowmobiling. And Chris will be into sports. Chris, I understand the Toronto Raptors are eyeing a playoff berth. How did things fare for them last night?
Well, Randy, as the regular season of the NBA is nearing its end, the Raptors look to make a push for the playoffs and had an important matchup last night against the Washington Wizards. I'll let you know how they did, as well as two Canadian teams were in the NHL last night. I'll have all those stories and more later in sports.
Thanks, Chris. And Colton will be in with weather. Colton, the mild temperatures seem to be held on repeat.
That's right, Randy. This current heat wave that we've had will continue into next week, so go outside and enjoy it. Currently in Brandon, it's cloudy and -13 with very light wind. That's it for now, but I'll be back later on with your full weather details.
Thanks, Colton. A judge has sentenced a Manitoba-based soldier to 90 days in jail for offering to pay a girl and a woman to have sex with him and a dog. Tyson Larry Shields of CFB Shiloh admitted to contacting the 17-year-old teen and the woman online last September and offering both $2,000 to have sex. The 31-year-old man, who was deployed twice to Afghanistan, also sent both females explicit images of himself. Charges of bestiality were dropped in exchange for guilty pleas to counts of trying to solicit illicit sex and circulating obscene material. A spokesman for CFB Shiloh says Shields' employment at the base is under review. Manitoba's education minister says she won't compromise on proposed anti-bullying legislation that would force schools to accommodate gay and lesbian support groups. Nancy Allen says all students deserve a safe and caring learning environment. Some religious schools are upset over Bill 18 because it proposes that schools must allow student groups that promote respect for sexual orientation. The opposition, progressive conservatives, say the law strips faith-based schools of the right to set rules according to their beliefs. A lawsuit has been launched against Manitoba Hydro for allegedly failing to properly mark part of a power pole that killed a snowmobiler. Mathilda Woolman, who was 48, was a passenger on a sled when she collided with a steel guide wire across a ditch trail southeast of Winnipeg in 2011. Woolman's family is suing the Crown utility for damages, claiming the wire should have been clearly marked. Snowmobilers of Manitoba, an organization that helps snowmobile clubs develop and maintain safe trails, is also named in the lawsuit for allegedly failing to warn drivers of the wire. The driver of the snowmobile is also being sued, but none of the allegations has been proven in court. Recently, Vincent Massey High School held the grand opening for their new media arts program aimed to get students interested in the field of media. Westman Newsline's own Travis Giesbrecht went to Vincent Massey to file this report.
Last Friday was the grand opening of Vincent Massey High School's Media Arts program. This program will consist of multiple classes, explains Greg Beckwith.
Our new vocational program will be grades 9 to 12. It'll be a 3-year implementation program, so our first year will be introductory courses, grade 9 and 10. Our second year will be advanced courses, and our third year will be applied courses.
With the help of an advisement committee made up of people from the community and Assiniboine Community College's Interactive Media Arts program, the staff at Vincent Massey were able to create a spectacular program.
The Assiniboine Community College, specifically the IMA department, was instrumental in helping us come up with the design and the curriculum objectives, the outcomes we're trying to reach.
With the loss of CKX television in October 2011, the enrollment has been down in the program. However, with this new program and the possibility of being able to transfer credits over the enrollment has been outstanding.
We started our program last year, and we had 26 students, and we added a couple classes this year, and we saw growth up to 190 students this year. So hopefully, if we can continue to show some form of growth.
For Westman Newsline, I'm videographer Travis Giesbrecht.
Spring has not yet sprung, but beach volleyball is in our very near future. The annual Son of a Beach volleyball tournament will be running next week on the 8th and 9th of March. We'll get a fake break from this cold weather and have a go at our beloved summer sport. As usual, the Keystone Center will play host to Son of a Beach. Though barren and for now, the Manitoba room will be filled with truckloads of sand, as well as 96 teams trying to win the grand prize. The award this year includes $1,000 cash as well as championship t-shirts. This is the 26th year the Students Association at Assiniboine Community College has staged this event.
I am very excited for Son of a Beach this year, and I believe we are very prepared. What you can expect this year is we are mixing up a band and a DJ this year. We are sticking with a local band from Winnipeg, from Morris Entertainment, and they're called Rockbox. And they do a lot of a cover of songs and such, what we're familiar to, and I look forward to hearing and see how it goes.
And with that, let's take a look at where today's money markets are currently sitting.
Westman Newsline, produced by the IMA Media Production students of Assiniboine Community College. Local news, weather, and sports on Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline, airing at 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on WCG TV.
IKEA has stopped sales of its meatballs in at least 16 countries following an analysis showing the product might contain traces of horse meat. The Swedish retail giant says it's withdrawing the product even though its own tests did not detect horse DNA. As the horse meat scandal spreads, testing food is more important than ever. And as CNN's Paula Newton found out, it can also be fast and cheap.
All we really need is a 1 millimeter piece.
A scrap of food. That's all it takes to screen and ID exactly what we're eating.
It's going to have, is it beef and pork? Now that I've tested all these products and we've
The
found
DNA extraction,
very
while not perfectly scientific here, but demonstrated for CNN, is what the barcode of life is all about.
we can incorporate it into all large manufacturing companies' quality assurance and quality control procedures so that they go out and do DNA testing on their products.
Dr. Paul Hebert first conceived and developed the barcode of life and explains why it can and should be used to prevent food fraud.
You can move from a tiny piece of an organism to a DNA sequence that tells you what that species identity is within a matter of about an hour to an hour and a half, and it will cost you about $2. So there's absolutely no reason that the food marketplace isn't being screened aggressively to stop substitution.
Leading science like this really can be like a crime scene investigation. Not just horse meat scandals, but studies here have found as much as a third of U.S. seafood, for instance, is sold and labeled as one type of fish, but is really another. Despite this,
so the behavior on the side of the market hasn't changed a lot.
Why do you think that is?
Money. Substitution always happens that the cheap stuff is on your plate instead of the expensive one you pay for. So
consumers can change that. Small meat specialty shops like Rowe Farms in Canada are already controlling and scrutinizing supply chains. The farmers, the livestock, the meat packers.
When you understand that supply chain and how it actually all works, yeah, I think we're very exposed.
Meat crossing borders, companies cutting corners. Here they argue random DNA screening can and will be demanded more and more.
I think that it's just a matter of time. That I think customers, as they've shown in our business, are prepared to pay a little bit more for something that they're confident in.
Back in the lab, the meatball results won't be released for a few days. What's certain, though, as an investigative forensic tool, the barcode of life can bring leading-edge science straight to the supermarket. Paula Newton, CNN, at the University of Guelph.
A brutal blizzard has already whipped the southern plains and has set its sights on Kansas, Missouri, and Illinois. That's where it's expected to dump more than a foot of snow today. Here's a look at conditions in Oklahoma City on Monday. The storm prompted the closure of all highways in 6 counties in Oklahoma. And Woodward County officials say one person was killed and a partial roof collapsed caused by the snow. That's it for news, but stay tuned. Colton's up next with Newsline weather.
Good afternoon with Newsline weather. I'm Colton Yarch. Spring is unofficially in the air by the feel of the recent temperatures we've enjoyed anyway. Currently in Brandon, it's cloudy and -13 with minimal winds out of the northwest. This evening, clouds will fill the sky, but expect a gorgeous evening temperature-wise, -4. Overnight, there's a 40% chance some flurries will fall, and so will the temperature, 2 degrees down to -6. Taking a look at our radar image, there are some precipitous cells near the Saskatchewan border that may come to Brandon overnight, possibly bringing those flurries I mentioned about a moment ago. Moving to our satellite image, this cloud coverage from the west coast could make its way to Brandon by the weekend. Turning to our 5-day forecast now, expect sunshine for most of the week. Sunday, however, we will see the clouds take over. Moderate temperatures are expected all the way into next week, staying well above -10. Light winds will accompany the mild temps, but again, only up until Sunday. Now let's take a look around the region. Winnipeg and Portage are both in at -8. Meanwhile, Dauphin checks in at -3. Neepawa -7. Carberry -13. Killarney -6. Minnedosa and Verdun will round us out, both in at -13. Seasonal norms for this time of year are a high of -6 and a low of -17. The record high was set back in 1988 when we reached 7.5. The record low was -39.4 way back in 1962. Once again in Brandon, it's cloudy at -13 with a very light breeze out of the northwest. That's it for weather, but stick around. Chris is up next with Newsline Sports.
Good afternoon with Newsline Sports. I'm Chris Nicholson. Bradley Beal scored 20 points to lift the Washington Wizards to a 90-84 victory over Toronto on Monday night, handing the Raptors just their second loss in 8 games. DeMar DeRozan topped Toronto with 25 points, while Kyle Lowry added 18 on an ugly night for both teams. The Raptors had been one of the hottest teams in the Eastern Conference in February, but the positive vibes fizzled with Monday's horrible performance that saw the team trailing 63-54 heading into the fourth quarter against the NBA's worst road team. The New England Patriots have a lot more cap room, thanks to their starting quarterback. Tom Brady has reportedly received a 3-year extension from the Patriots worth about $27 million. The 3-time Super Bowl champion will make less than those 3 seasons than the going rate for a star quarterback. Peter Regins scored in the 5th round of the shootout, and Ben Bishop made 44 saves in regulation and overtime Monday, as the Ottawa Senators defeated the Montreal Canadiens 2-1 after Regin gave the Senators the lead in a shootout. Bishop stopped Thomas Plekanec to secure Ottawa's season-high 5th straight win. Carey Price finished the game with 23 saves. Dave Zerzinski scored in the regulation for the Senators, while Andrei Markov replied for the Canadiens. The teams were tied 1-1 after the 2 periods, and it stayed that way in the 3rd and into overtime. Ottawa's Ben Bishop finished with a career best at 44 saves, only allowing 1 goal in the regulation. And Randy, that's it for sports.
Thanks, Chris. I couldn't help but notice that you made an appearance in one of our packages regarding Son of a Beach.
Yes.
It's the biggest event of the year for the Student Association, which you're proud to be a part of. How excited are you for Son of a Beach?
I am so excited. I helped it out last year, and this time I'm running it, and it is so exciting. I can't wait to get all the school spirit together of ACC and see how that turns out. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you absolutely want to be a part of it. I love playing volleyball, and this is the 4th year in a row where I've been unable to get a full team together. But with 96 teams there, I mean, there's so much volleyball even just to go and watch.
I know, it's unbelievable, right? And next to that, we also have the social, and we're introducing a band this year to help support our local listeners.
Do we know who the band is yet?
Yes, it is Rockbox, local Winnipeg band.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so brand new information here only on Westman Newsline. 96 teams, it's going to be a great event. Even if you're not playing in volleyball, just go and support the event. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see who will be able to win the surfboard.
Absolutely. It'll be very exciting to see.
Excellent. Well, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you for your sports, Chris. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for Brandon's only TV newscast, Westman Newsline.